I'm sorry, Mr. Better Ideas, but power posing isn't real. So there's a lot of people here on YouTube who give advice about issues in psychology and behavioral science, but they aren't trained in either. So in this new series called Fact Checked, I, as somebody who is trained in both psychology and behavioral science, will be reviewing their advice to see if it stands up to the current scientific understanding. First video that we're going to be looking at comes from Better Ideas called Why You're Always Tired. In this video, he's talking a lot about the psychology of sleep, and it just so happens that at my university, Warwick, sleep psychology happens to be one of the specialties that I was trained in because we have an amazing researcher, Dr. Nicole Tang, who works on sleep psychology there. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Welcome back to Pete's Behavioral Insights and Theories, aka Pete Spitz. Let's get on with the video. So in the interest of brevity, I'm going to be skipping straight to the advice section and sort of skipping all the nice personal cinematography that he does in the video. Just so the video isn't super long.
Okay, so thing number one, I stopped misusing caffeine. Now, caffeine is one of those weird ones. People think they know a lot about how caffeine works. You know, you've probably heard that caffeine lasts between 5 and 7 hours. So, don't drink too much caffeine in the afternoon or you might not be able to fall asleep. But the weird thing about caffeine is that it lasts a lot longer than 5 to 7 hours. The half-life of caffeine is 5 to 7 hours. And half-life means that after 5 to 7 hours, half the caffeine is still in your system. And then it takes another 5 to 7 hours after that for half of that amount of caffeine to leave your system.
So let's talk about caffeine. So what he's saying is generally true. The half-life of caffeine can be around 5 to 7 hours typically, but it's worth noting that there's a huge amount of individual variation when it comes to how fast your body can metabolize the caffeine that you're consuming. For example, some studies show that the half-life of caffeine for some people can be as low as 2.3 hours, whereas for others it can be as long as 9.9 hours.
Do not drink caffeine past 12 p.m. Just don't do it.
So if you're still struggling to sleep and you're not consuming caffeine past 12, consider shifting that boundary earlier in the day because the genetic component of how you process caffeine has a huge impact on whether it's going to impact your sleep or not. All right, what's the next bit of advice?
I started implementing was I gave myself a lot more sleep opportunity. Everyone's heard that you need 8 hours of sleep a night. But the truth is, in order to sleep for that long, you probably need to be in bed for longer. I take about half.
So 8 hours is generally the recommended amount of sleep for most adults. However, again, there's a huge amount of genetic variation between people. Some people only need around 6 hours of sleep, while other people need 10 hours or more to receive, the same benefit of that sleep. Generally, studies find that when you sleep less than 5 hours, that's when the most detrimental effects of low sleep occur. So try get at least 5 hours per night, but he's right in saying that 8 hours is generally recommended.
So I need to be in bed half an hour or 45 minutes earlier than I'm planning on falling asleep, and that makes sure that I actually get the sleep that I need every single night.
So Better Ideas here is talking about what sleep psychologists call sleep latency. It's the time between when you lie down and try and go to sleep and when you actually sleep. Typical sleep latencies in adults is around 10 to 20 minutes for most people. So Mr. Better Ideas here being 30 to 45 minutes is actually a lot longer than most people would typically find.
The benefits of a good night's sleep is something that's cumulative. If you give yourself that much opportunity every single night, your amount of sleep baseline will go up over a long period of time, and you'll kind of work off your sleep debt. You'll work off your sleep deprivation that you've been chronically plagued with.
So sleep debt's kind of a dangerous idea to be playing around with because it can promote a sort of very unhealthy relationship with your sleep where you don't sleep for one night and then you try and binge sleep to make up for it. And that's actually not the general advice given by most sleep health professionals. Sleep debt is real, but the best way to go about it is to just sort of slowly increase the amount of sleep that you have by maybe an hour or two here and there spread throughout the week rather than trying to binge sleep because that's not really how your body recovers properly.
Other thing that I did was I fixed my circadian rhythm. For those of you who don't know, your circadian rhythm is sort of like this internal clock that tells your brain whether it's daytime or nighttime, when you should be given energy and when you should slow down and get ready for bed. And a lot of your circadian rhythm is dictated by sunlight, how bright it is around you, how dark it is around you, which is why you've heard that you shouldn't go on social media or on smartphones or look at screens right before bed, which is very, very true. When you're looking at all this blue light, your brain thinks that it's daytime. So it's not giving you the melatonin that you need, that your brain needs to know that it's like time to slow down and go to bed now. So one thing that's really helped me is to not look at screens right before I go to bed, and especially not in bed. That way my brain can actually start producing adequate melatonin. I can start slowing down psychologically, and by the time my head hits the pillow during my little sleep opportunity window, I'm out like a light.
This is really great advice by Better Ideas here. Completely agree with him on this one. You can also think about how you can apply this principle to waking yourself up in the morning rather than just trying to fall asleep at night. So if you're somebody who wakes up still feeling tired, then try get a big dose of sunlight in the morning and you might actually feel more energized because of it.
Was I pinned a black blanket over my windows because I'm a barbarian with no sense of interior design. But what that did was when it's the earlier hours of the morning when I'm still sleeping, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., I still want it to be dark so I can still be deep in sleep, getting as much high quality sleep as I can.
So this is actually really good advice by Better Ideas. He's talking about optimizing your bedroom for sleep, which is actually one of the first things that a cognitive behavioral therapist will tell you if you go to one of those people about your sleep problems. Optimizing your bedroom doesn't just have to stop at blocking out light too. You can think about all kinds of other environmental factors that might be affecting your sleep quality, such as having a mattress that isn't comfortable, not having appropriate pillows to support your head. For example, I live next to a main road, which means that I get a lot of traffic noise, which is really annoying. And if I thought that was something which was significantly affecting my sleep quality, then it might be good advice for me to use earplugs or something to block out that noise, because all these small environmental factors could be having a bigger effect on your sleep than you might think.
Implemented to improve my sleep seems like a little quick fix. I don't know if this applies to you, but I was reading this book called Breath by James Nestor, and he talked about the benefits of nasal breathing as opposed to mouth breathing. And I noticed that when I put my head on my pillow every night, my nose gets really congested, and I end up opting in the middle of the night to mouth breathing.
I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so let's talk about exercise. There is a fascinating link between your psychology and your physiology. It seems like what's good for the body is also good for the mind. It's the reason why power posing somehow, like standing up and putting your hands on your hips or whatever, that kind of stuff increases testosterone.
Sorry, Mr. Better Ideas, but power posing isn't real. Like a lot of ideas in psychology that become very popular in the media, unfortunately, it failed replication tests. So as a scientist, if your studies don't replicate, we can't really take them as being true. In fact, the replication attempts were so poor that even Amy Cuddy herself, who's the person who gave the viral TED Talk on power posing initially, even she's come out and said that she no longer believes in power posing. So if Amy Cuddy doesn't believe in power posing, then you shouldn't believe in power posing either. It's just not true.
But literally just power posing, feeling powerful, lowers your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and increases your testosterone, making you feel more confident and powerful. And you hear so many accounts of people who fixed their posture, which allowed them to go about the day with more confidence. It's like a chicken or the egg thing. They fixed their physiology.
Okay, he's just talking about power posing for quite a while here. I'm going to skip to the next one.
Twice a week in the evenings. And then I go to the gym for like half an hour to 45 minutes to do some heavy lifting 3 to 4 times a week. But I spend the rest of that time, by and large, sitting on my butt, editing videos, writing content, whatever. This sedentary lifestyle was draining my energy. So I made a simple tweak. Not only do I make sure I get out and take a walk every single day, I do something to get out of the house, get moving, but I also bought a standing desk. So I spend a large portion of my time when I'm being productive standing up on my desk rather than sitting down.
I really want one of those. They look so cool.
And this has that power posing effect. The fact that I'm standing up, my body...
Not real. Okay, so even if power posing isn't real, the benefits of exercise on sleep are very real. So if you're someone who doesn't exercise at all, you live an extremely sedentary lifestyle, pretty common in lockdown right now, then try and be a little bit more active during the day and see if it improves your sleep quality, because for a lot of people this is a very common factor that they don't exercise enough, and that's why their sleep quality is bad.
And now just briefly, I'm actually not going to talk about diet because I feel like I don't want to add to the noise. One thing I've learned is that it's really genetically dependent. If your ancestors...
Not only is diet genetically dependent, but all the advice that you're giving right now is also all genetically dependent, as we've said already.
By and large, though, avoid packaged food, avoid sugar, drink enough water. You know all these things. There's a million diets that you can look up on the internet.
So the effect of sleep on diet is actually really interesting. And one of the findings from sleep psychology is that those people who are sleep deprived tend to put on weight. And one of the reasons why that happens is because they have an increase in this hormone called ghrelin. And ghrelin is the hormone that tells your body that it's hungry. So when you don't sleep enough, you actually feel more hungry. And not only do you feel more hungry, but those people who are sleep deprived tend to favor really high calorie, starchy foods like chips and pizza, because those are the things that make them feel like they have more energy. So if you're not sleeping enough and you're gaining weight and you're eating like crap, it's probably all related. And if you just fix your sleep, those other things might just domino effect and also improve as a result.
your body and you're not taking care of your sleep or exercise, you'll probably still be sluggish. It's the combination of these three things, especially sleep, especially exercise, with like a reasonable effort put into your diet, you'll have energy to work with. You know, you'll finally be somebody who's perky, who has energy, who can tackle their daily tasks and actually get things done without constantly feeling like somebody's just dragging you down, holding onto your shirt and just like covering your eyes all the time. That was a terrible one.
Okay, better ideas. I'm going to give you a 7 out of 10 for scientific accuracy. I'm docking 2 points for talking about power posing for too long, and I'm docking another point because you don't account enough for the genetic variation when you give your advice. However, I'm going to give you one more plus point because it's a really great video that's really well made. So pretty good job, better ideas. Thank you guys for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.